ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
2,000 years long, we will never settle. Hard days, no way, with a heavy metal. No time, no fail, won't stop here. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. Won't stop, come on, take me higher.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and we're back. It is that time of the week for Fight Night Fortunes with good friend and colleague, Mr. Lou Finocchiaro. Make sure you're following him on X at GamLou. This week, UFC Des Moines, Sandhagen versus Mr. Figueiredo in the heartland. So I'm going to have some exciting fights there from Des Moines itself. So Bo Nickel, I wanted to talk to Lou about this. Open minus 218. I can't remember this guy ever being that low as an opener. I remember minus 2,000, minus 1,800. So we could have some violence definitely in that fight. So we will get to that soon. Shout out to our proud sponsor and partnerships. It's WagerWire. Head on over to Google Play, download the app. It is free. AtlantaSteaksandSeafood.com. Head on over to Facebook. Introduce yourself to Terry Smith, and then head on back to AtlantaSteaksandSeafood.com. Steaks, chops, seafood, appetizers, wine. Terry's got it all. 4 subscription plans in all. Set it and forget it every 30 days. Have your protein delivered right to your front door. And Viva Tequila Seltzer. 6 flavors in all. The East Coast is cuckoo for coconut. Mr. Lou Finocchiaro.
Jeffrey, good afternoon. We're getting closer, albeit only by about 300 miles a crack, to the Cape. So Kansas City, Des Moines, and then next week, I'm not sure where. Next week, we're actually in Toronto, so or Montreal. We're in Canada, so we're we're coming your way. It's just slow. It's slow going.
I think one of these spots sooner than later is in New Jersey, and it's about a 5-hour drive. And I always got one foot in the, it'd be great to get down there. I wanted to go to South Beach and get jiggy with it in Miami a few weeks ago, but had another engagement there. So, as you said, 10 weeks in all. We're really starting to cook with Crisco here. We had that great 10-week fight card. We had a week off, and now we're back. Before we dig into the fights and what's going on, I had to ask you, hockey playoffs, they never ever disappoint. And you know, the difference between them and the NBA, when the NBA has an elimination game a la Miami versus Cleveland, they lay down and die and lose by 50. In hockey, they just get a little tougher, and you never know what to expect. How's the NHL been treating you? You've been enjoying the first round, Lou.
Love the first round. Actually, my model's been coming up, and it often does. I'm taking teams where they're closing at much higher underdog prices than when they open. The problem is that there tend to be road teams, and right now home teams are just completely clobbering road teams. So it's been a slow start, Good news is I'm like betting a quarter of a unit. I mean, I'm not doing anything right now, just spinning my wheels while I let my futures work, which outside of a Tampa future, I've seen it pretty well as far as series bets and conference and cup bets. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to keep writing it out. I trust my model over the course of the last 45 years. I've tweaked it slightly, and I think there's regression coming maybe as early as this evening.
Well, I think for theatricals, I'm really pulling hard for Ottawa. I just, Toronto in a Game 7 situation when they've had 3 swings to close it out and how much they've struggled, number one. Number two, every year you just want to kick this Florida team to the curb. All right, we've seen enough. And boy, did I see enough last night. I tipped my hat. I, too, had a Tampa future. I thought that the winner of that series would get to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think if Tampa played anyone but Florida, Lou, they'd be moving on to the second round.
I don't know about that. I would have surely before the series I would have said that, but Tampa was listless on offense, and then Vasilevsky got a little shaky, and boy, that's not a good prescription. I had maybe overestimated them. That said, maybe I underestimated Florida. Maybe that's what I did. I can tell you that East. The good news for Florida is all this rest. They're huge Ottawa fans tonight, hoping Ottawa takes Toronto to 7 so that they can get rested up and charged up. Meanwhile, Washington, Carolina is going to be like Florida and Tampa. That's going to be an awesome, epic conference semifinal, I guess. And you already got a price in the series. Carolina's come out as a minus 150, so pretty interesting.
That is a little Washington second in the President's Cup, number 1 in the East. Ovi, just like a fine wine, is getting better and better. We'll look forward to that. Before we jump into this week's fights, as we talked backstage, getting closer to regular season wrap up in college bases. We'll have the conference championships. My Yukon Huskies had won 13 in a row. They're still probably going to have to win the Big East to get a selection this year. They started too slow. SEC beating themselves up. We talked about it, but as you said, if you're a Tennessee fan and some of the others in the SEC, no reason to sweat, right, Lou?
No reason to sweat. I mean, if you lose 5 out of 6 games in 2 weeks, there's plenty of reason to sweat. But they're not doing. They're sharpening steel. And if you want to look right now and you look down the ways, who is that quiet SEC team starting to make a move late, playing their best baseball late? That'd be Ole Miss. But if you count the top 20, what are there, 8 SEC, 9 SEC teams in there? Who cares if one's 12 or 2? They're gonna be there. And the good news is that if you look at DraftKings, they just came out with teams to make the College World Series. Now we have markets because DBU ain't going to win the College World Series. I don't care what year it is or who they're in against. It's not happening. Southern Miss ain't gonna win the College World Series. So it's going to be an SEC, it's going to be an ACC, or it's going to be Oregon State. That's who's going to win the College World Series. But at 3-1, can you bet a DBU to make the College World Series? Can you look at a Coastal Carolina? Oh, yes, yeah. Cal State, Santa Barbara, easy for me to say. These are teams that are live that can absolutely make it. And so you really need to understand what you're betting. In the win markets, that's a little different than to make the World Series mark.
Last week's fights I was watching, and in the main event, I'm going to draw a blank on the 2 names in the main event. But they were
oh no, that's this week, Sandhagen. Last week in the main event was Gary and Prates.
Okay, so Gary and Protez. Okay, am I missing a week? The who?
And 2 weeks before that, it was Volkanovski and Lopez.
All
And
right,
if
so
you're
that was-
missing after that, then you're just you're mistaken.
no, so Gary Gary was the fighter that this was his last fight. Is that correct? Or am I mixing up fights?
No, you're talking about the co-main last week with Anthony Smith against the Chinese guy. I mean, it's a waste of time to talk about. Anthony Smith got put off by the UFC because he works the desk. He didn't deserve what he got. Better fighters have gotten less. He's a great fighter and has shown great durability over the course of his career. But the only reason he got that send-off was because he works for the UFC.
Well, my question about that was after the Chinese gentleman won, he called out my buddy Mr. Yuri. Is that a fair fight? Or is that too early?
Mr. Who? Yuri Prochaska?
Yes.
Is that a fair fight? No. That's a lawnmower running over grass. This Chinese kid is a complete fade moving forward. He's fought nobody.
Okay. He says he wanted to fight the spirit, the gods. He thought that this would see where he is in his evolution in UFC, and he called him out, and I thought of you right away. I was going to call you up and say, hey, how dare him call Yuri out like this?
Fade. Fade.
Des Moines, Iowa, the heartland. 4 fights you wanted to break down today. First fight, Smotherman, and is it Sadi?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm on DraftKings as we speak right now, and I'm going to scroll down here. Sadi minus 130, Smotherman plus 110, over 2.5, Lou minus 188.
Yeah, I had a strong inkling towards Smotherman early in the week. As I've done more work, research, and watching, I'm kind of leaning now to the other side a little bit. Sometimes that's a sure sign of staying away from a fight. Sadi's got the experience. He's the taller, longer fighter. And he's very well-rounded. I don't know that Smotherman's wrestling is going to be up to task here. This is going to be a close, competitive fight. But I think what you do is you be patient and you see if that price on Sadi, Smotherman opened minus 125. Now you're looking at Smotherman as a little bit of an underdog. I tend to agree with the move to Sadi and think that at minus 125 or 30, he's accurately priced.
The second fight, Jackson versus Marcos. Let me just pull the slide up over here for us. Internet has just been fun this week, let me tell you. Jackson and Marcos. Right now, Montel minus 198. Montel Jackson. Daniel Marcos plus 164. Over 2.5, minus 220 right now, Lou.
Yeah, I mean, here's a fight I don't think you want to miss. Marcos is Peruvian. He's a warrior, and he's won, 4 or 5 straight fights. As far as his UFC, he's won 4 straight and looked good in all, and he's won against solid, ascending, good competition. However, in this fight, he steps up again in class. Montel Jackson's the real deal. Longer, taller. I don't know if he's going to be younger. And of course, I don't have my glasses on. They're the same age. But he's longer, taller, as well-rounded. I think the length and the athleticism, meaning that Jackson's movement and ability to force Marcos to fight at distance, might be the edge here. I lean to Jackson in a really close fight, maybe a split decision fight. And if you're in markets where you have DraftKings or FanDuels and they offer the points handicap, Marcos plus the 3.5 points might well be a very sound consideration if you're getting my drift.
The co-main event, I said it in the intro here, DeRitter versus Nickel. And I remember when Bo was coming up and his prices were just off the chart. And I'm looking here, and for some reason, how come I don't have a number? Here it is. Currently, Bo Nickel minus 345. on your Sneak Teep podcast, you had mentioned opened up at minus 218. So obviously money is coming in on Bo. Right now, DeRitter is plus 275. And over under, right now, under 2.5, Lou, minus 125.
Yeah, and it was 1.5. So uh, what you have here, you're not going to have violence. This is going to be a roll in the hay. This is a jiu-jitsu specialist who's going to have size and length, and DeRitter that's going to sell his soul to find a way to tackle Bo and get him to the ground and start rolling around. That's his only course. That's his only avenue to success. Bo, meanwhile, is going to want to keep it standing, keep him at distance, and use his moderately equipped striking. And it is only moderately equipped, but it's exponentially ahead of what DeRitter has. DeRitter has very little to no striking. So Bo could probably have his way on the feet and probably wants to keep his distance. If he can keep his pride away from rolling with DeRitter, if he goes in head first, DeRitter will choke him out. So if this does go on the ground, it should be fascinating to see how it does, how long it stays, and how quickly Bo can get up. But I think he wants this on the feet, which is his easiest course to victory here. I like Nickel here. He's been a winner at every level he's been at. This is a good step up for him as well, DeRitter. And I think the UFC puts these two grappler wrestlers together to see who's the better one and who moves forward.
I'll be definitely eyes on this one. Again, I've been watching him since he came up. I've just been fascinated at how big of a favorite he is, and now to see numbers really come down. Not that I'm going to run to the window for a -3. He'll probably be almost 400 by fight night. But if you get, as you would say, if you go to points, you go to a parlay piece or something, definitely lean on the nickel side, correct?
It's hard to bet nickel now at this price. I mean, at 218, it's one thing. At 3 something, you're talking about a whole different situation. I don't know. It's a 3-round fight. I don't know about inside the distance. Maybe you look at something like fight goes to the distance. If you look at let's see, props here, method of victory, fight props, fight to go the distance. Goes the distance, yes. 140, no, minus 195. I'd say yes, plus 140. Pardon me.
No, you're fine.
I think this has a chance to go the distance. I think both guys are skilled, both guys are proud, and it may not be easy to get either one out of there, Jeffrey.
Main event. Sandhagen versus Figueiredo. Right now, Corey Sandhagen now minus 550. Devison Figueiredo plus 410. Right now, the over 4.5. Lou minus 238. They're expecting this one obviously to go to the distance.
They are. I don't know that I am. Sandhagen opens minus 235, and so he's just gotten steamed. He's the legit bantamweight. He's the fighter, honestly, that has fought the elite of the division, top 5 guys, fared better than well, lost a few, however. But he's hungry, he's focused, and he faces a guy that is a champion, but at 125, moving up in weight. Now maybe a touch undersized at this division, but he's going to give it his all. He's got power, he's got decent wrestling, but he's going to struggle with Sandhagen's length and reach and his movement. Sandhagen's very well-rounded and probably as good a fighter in any capacity in any location as is Figueiredo. So it's easy to see why Sandhagen's the favorite. It's easy to see why they're betting him, but they've bet him into an obtuse position. I don't think there's any betting this at this rate right now. If anything, we did see, and albeit it was a bad weight cut for Figueiredo when he got finished by Moreno, but I don't put it past Sandhagen to try and look impressive, maybe submit Figueiredo and try and get him out of there. For that reason, Maybe you look at a fight doesn't go the distance, under the 4.5, or maybe even a Sandhagen inside the distance.
Next week, you said you thought Toronto or Montreal, somewhere over across the border, correct? Next week.
Next week we're give me just 1 second and I'll pull it up here. I'm on the UFC's site. Next week we're in the Bell Center in Montreal for Muhammad and Madeline, and then after that we have a couple of Apex shows before they go to Newark.
See, I knew New Jersey was coming up somewhere, so a lot of action to be coming up. Second round of hockey, of course, NBA. College baseball, we're getting closer to regionals and super regionals, and of course UFC every week. The scroller's been going the whole time. Everyone knows on X where to find you, of course, at GamLou. But as we always wrap up this segment here, we'd like to tell them about your website and, of course, your charity, where they can find that on your website as well.
Website gamblou.com. The charity is the San Xavier Mission. You'll see that in the top right corner. Tap that link and you'll be directed right there. I want to thank you, Jeff, for having me on, talk about my passion, which is the fights each week. It's greatly appreciated. I do 2 podcasts. On Monday, the Sneak Teat podcast comes out, and it's really well taken. We're getting like 17 countries and 800 people listening to simply a 6 to 10 minute breakdown of early UFC lines for each week's UFC card. So thank you to those that listen in. And then the About Business podcast drops Fridays around noon, midday. That's available at gamblou.com. All my final releases for the week are found on that podcast. And once again, Jeff, thanks so much.
Well, it's our pleasure. Every Thursday, 3 o'clock Eastern, 12 o'clock Pacific. Make sure you set the notifications for Fight Night Fortunes with myself, Jeff Dawson. You can find me at EC Sports Invest, and of course, Mr. Lou Finocchiaro at GamLou, gamlou.com. Quick shout out to Mr. Elijah Cox. It makes us middle-aged gentlemen look so well. So everyone have a blessed
Thanks, Elijah.
Enjoy yourselves, and we will see you soon.